Assalamu alaikum. The topic for today's discussion is prohibitions as per Quran other than food category. Today we are going to discuss ayah number 1690, which is surah number or chapter number 16, ayah number 90. This is going to be the final part, which means that at the end of this ayah, we are going to summarize all the four parts that we have discussed today. So this particular surat is surah number or chapter number 16, ayah number 90. And in this ayah, God says that indeed Allah orders justice and good conduct, ihsan, and giving to relatives, and forbids fahasha and munkar and baghi. He admonishes you that perhaps you will be reminded. So in this particular ayat, we have already discussed the word fahasha and baghi in our earlier videos. So today we are going to discuss the word munkar. This word has the root word of noon kaf re, and if we look at Quran defines the word nakar with root word nakar or munkar in multiple meanings. For instance, it means a very cunning person, miser, somebody who hoards wealth, extremely selfish behavior, safeguarding of one's own interest at the cost of others, deceiving others. It also means harshest, terrible punishment, evil, ultimate rejection. It also means denial of haq and ayat, rejecting haq and rejecting Allah's ayat. It also has been defined and used in Quran as opposite of the word maroof, unpleasant and unacceptable acts, as per the definition of batil and opposite of maroof. So today what we are going to discuss, what we are going to do is we are going to take out each and every meaning of this word, and we are going to take out the related ayah related to that particular meaning of the word in order to further understand the meaning of the word munkar as it's been prohibited as per this particular ayah. So the first part of this particular vocabulary is a very cunning person, miser, somebody who holds wealth, extremely selfish behavior, safeguarding of one's own interest at the cost of other, or deceiving others. So in order to understand this particular meaning, I have taken out the series of ayahs from chapter number or surah number 70. So the first series of ayah is from 19 to 21, which describes the behavior of a munkar. So it goes like that: surely man is created of a hasty temperament and greedy, which means that as a part of our fitrat, we are greedy by nature. We are of hasty temperament. We are selfish. When they're afflicted, they complain and are impatient. And when good touches them, which means that when they are fortunate, they withhold and they hoard. This is the behavior of a munkar, which is an extremely selfish, self-centered behavior at the cost of others, a behavior of a miser who hoards wealth, which means that when we are in a fortunate times, when we are going through the good times, we hoard wealth. We keep the wealth to ourselves. We become self-centered, we become self-focused. Whereas when we are going through a troubled time, or when we are going through any of the afflictions or grief, we complain. We become impatient. So these are our qualities, and these are the qualities of a munkar. And in the subsequent ayahs in the same chapter, God defines what is an acceptable behavior. And the acceptable behavior is, and those in whose wealth there is a known portion for haq. And then in the subsequent verse, the haq has been defined, that in the wealth, who is for who the haq, the portion has been fixed, for the one who asks and the one who is deprived and less fortunate than you are. So this is an acceptable behavior. So as per Quran, the acceptable behavior by each and every one of us is that when we are going through good times, when we are fortunate, we look and take care of those who are less fortunate than us. And we keep a certain portion of our wealth fixed for those who have more haq on that particular wealth than us, who are less fortunate, who ask for our help, and we help them out. Because if we don't do that, we are becoming a munkar who is holding wealth, who is a miser, who is an extremely selfish and self-centered person, which is prohibited as per the teachings of Quran. So in this particular ayah, God says that you who have believed, do not follow the footsteps of Satan. And whoever follows the footsteps of Satan, indeed he enjoins immorality and munkar. So this munkar is something which is a tool used by devil. And what is the tool that he uses? He uses the tool to make us selfish, to make us self-centered, to make us more focused on our own needs at the cost of others, to deceive others, to become selfish and self-centered, to indulge in wrongdoings and evil. And these are all the acts of a munkar. And munkar is something which is prohibited as per Quran, and therefore God says that do not follow the footsteps of Shaitan, because Shaitan is the one who enjoys fahashi and munkar. And munkar is an act which we have already discussed, that what is defined as munkar by Quran. So the other meaning of the word munkar is the one who denies or reject haq and ayat. And we have already discussed in our earlier videos the meaning of the word haq and the meaning of the word ayat in detail. The related ayah that I have taken out is this ayah: your God is one God, but those who do not believe in the hereafter, their hearts are munkar, in denial, and they are arrogant. Which means that those of us who do not believe in the hereafter, on the day of judgment, on the concept of accountability, if we do not believe on the concept of accountability, we are actually being munkar. We are doing something which is prohibited as per Quran, which is a denial, which is denying of haq. And haq is what? That God is one. We cannot assign partners with God at all. And what is the other haq? The haq is the day of judgment. It is haq. It is going to happen. The day of accountability, the day of judgment is going to happen. So if we do not believe in that, if our actions do not portray this belief of ours, the concept of accountability, then we are actually doing something which is prohibited as per Quran. And this Quran is a blessed message which we have sent down. Then are you with it a rejecter, a munkar? Which means that if we reject Quran or any of its ayahs, we are becoming one of the munkareen, and we are doing something which is prohibited as per Quran, because Quran is the book from God. It is the revelation by God. It is the guidance given to us by God Almighty. And it is a blessed message. So if we reject it, or if we reject any part of it, we are becoming one of the munkareens, and we are doing something which is prohibited as per Quran. And he shows you his ayats. So which of the ayat do you deny? What type of ayat is this talking about? So basically, as we all know, in Quran there are two types of ayat mentioned times and times again. One type of ayat is the words of Quran itself, and the other type of ayat is all the creations, all the signs of scattered all around us, of the creations of God Almighty, scattered all around us in science and universe. So if we reject the Quranic ayahs, what does it mean? The rejection of Quranic ayahs means that we do not believe in the Quranic ayahs, or we do not follow these Quranic ayahs. If we are doing that, then we are doing something which is prohibited as per Quran. What about the ayat scattered all around us in science and universe? What about, what does it mean by rejecting those ayats, all those creations? It means that the definition of ayat gets completed only when we think and we ponder and we utilize all our faculties, all our six senses. So if you're not utilizing all our six senses, if we are not thinking and pondering on all the creations scattered all around us in science and universe, by utilizing all our faculties in a bid to realize the existence of the hidden truth hidden behind all these creations, which is the greatness and the wisdom of the Creator hidden behind all these creations, then we are actually involving in an act which is prohibited as per Quran, which is a denial or a rejection of these ayats, which are not non-Quranic ayahs. And non-Quranic ayahs are those ayahs which are the creations scattered all around us in science and universe. So if we don't think about those creations, if we don't observe them, if we don't think and ponder and utilize all our faculties to explore the knowledge, to understand the knowledge, to seek the knowledge, if we don't do that, then we are practically involving in something which is prohibited as per Quran, which is the denial of God's sign and God's ayat, both Quran and non-Quranic. And the believers are those to whom we have given the book. Rejoice at what has been revealed to you. So basically God is saying that whoever has been given the book, the Quran, be happy and rejoice and celebrate what has been given to you, because this is a book of guidance. But among the factions are those who deny a part of it. Again, if you are one of the believers, you cannot say that I believe a part of the Quran and I do not believe a part of the Quran. It has to be a belief in all across. You cannot reject or you cannot deny a part of it. If you deny or if we reject any part of the Quran, we are actually being one of the munkarin and we're doing something which is prohibited as per Quran. So acceptance and the belief on book means to accept and believe in each and every part of the book, in the book as a whole. You cannot accept a part and you cannot reject a part. If you're rejecting a part, then you're becoming one of the munkarin, which is prohibited as per Quran. And when our ayats are recited to them as clear evidences, you recognize disapproval on the faces of those who disbelieve. Which means that if somebody's belief is not strong, then when the ayats are recited to them, you can see the signs of rejection on their faces. And what happens next? They almost attack those who recite to them our ayats. So because of the fact that they are disbelievers, they are rejectors and they are denial of the Quranic ayahs. And when these Quranic ayahs are recited to them, they almost attack those who are reciting these Quranic ayahs. Now let's go on to the next meaning of the word munkar, which is the as opposite of maruf. So the phrase amar bil maruf wa nahi anil munkar, which means maruf is anything which is acceptable, which is pleasant. On the basis of what? The criteria is the deen. And deen, as we have already know, is the set of guidelines, rules and instructions given by God Almighty that defines the parameters and the boundaries of our restrictions and our freedoms. So whatever actions are within those boundaries, those actions and those behaviors and those beliefs are termed as acceptable and pleasant and are termed as maruf. Whatever is outside those boundaries of those rules and regulations of deen, those outside of those boundaries are called munkar, and these are those acts which are unacceptable and unpleasant as per the rules and regulations of deen, because these are outside the boundaries of deen and are unacceptable. So the related ayah, they believe in Allah and the last day and they enjoin what is right and forbid what is wrong and hasten to good deeds. So what they is, the believers are those who believe in Allah. That is the basic belief. Believe in Allah and the last day, the day of judgment, the concept of accountability. And they enjoin what is right. They enjoin the maruf. They order the maruf. They help each other. They support each other in doing maruf. And maruf is something which is within the boundaries of deen. And they forbid what is munkar. And munkar is something which is outside the boundaries, outside the rules and regulations of deen. And they hasten to good deeds. In order to do the good deeds, they compete with each other. The hypocrite men and hypocrite women, some of them or others, they enjoin what is wrong and forbid what is right, and they close their hands. Again, here we're talking about the hypocrites, exactly the opposite of the earlier ayah. They enjoin what is munkar and they forbid what is maruf, and they close their hands, which means that they are miser, they hoard their wealth. They close their hands to do khair, because what they're doing is they're supporting each other, they're helping each other in doing wrong, in forbidding good. So in today's discussion, we have discussed just one word, munkar, and as per this particular ayah in 1690, munkar has been prohibited as per Quran, which means that it is prohibited to be extremely selfish with no regards to others' interest. Complete lack of consideration and care for others is prohibited as per Quran. To deceive others for your own gain, to be cunning, to be self-centered and self-focused, to be involved in deception for others is prohibited as per Quran. To hoard wealth and not to give to those who ask or who are less fortunate than you are is prohibited as per Quran. To reject or deny haq, which is the confirmed truth and God's message, Quran, is prohibited. To accept a part of Quran and reject a part of Quran is prohibited, which means that if you are a believer, you have to believe each and every ayat of Quran. You have to believe the Quran as a whole. You cannot accept a part of it and reject a part of it, because if we reject a part of it, we are becoming one of the munkareens, and this is prohibited as per Quran. To deny any of God's ayahs. So we are talking about both the type of ayats. One is the Quranic ayats. And to reject Quranic ayahs means not to believe Quranic ayahs or not to follow Quranic ayahs. To reject the other ayahs, which is the God sign scattered all around us in science and universe, means not to use our faculties, not to use our intellect for the pursuit of knowledge in order to pursue what is hidden behind all of these signs, which is the greatness and the wisdom of God Almighty. To pursue knowledge by utilizing all your faculties to its best. If we are not doing that, then we are becoming one of the munkareens, and this is prohibited as per Quran. To reject, disbelieve that God is one. This is the basic criteria of deen. We cannot be among the mushrikeen. God is one. This is a confirmed truth, and we cannot deny this truth. Similarly, the day of judgment, our belief on the day of judgment is the foundation of Iman. The belief on the accountability. Whatever we do, we have to be accountable for that. Whatever goes around comes around. Whatever we do, we will be accountable for that. So in terms of these two beliefs, these is the foundation of Iman. And if we reject any of these two beliefs, we are becoming one of the munkareens, and this is prohibited as per Quran. To be involved in wrongdoing or to support anyone or anything in wrongdoing or evil acts is prohibited as per Quran. So in conclusion, just to conclude all the four parts in the list of prohibitions that we have discussed, for all the prohibitions other than the food category, we have discussed ayah 733, ayah 6151 and ayah 1690. And as per these three ayahs, what is prohibited as per Quran is this: to go to extreme, to cross the boundaries of deen, all the rules and regulations given by God Almighty. To cross these boundaries is prohibited. To be rebellious, to rebel or to go against the laws, rules and regulations which govern us either in our personal capacity or in our professional capacity. All the rules and regulations, we have to abide by those rules and regulations. If we go against those rules and regulations, we are doing something which is prohibited as per Quran. To abuse someone, to oppress someone, to torture someone is prohibited. To do anything against someone in the state of being jealous is prohibited. To hide the truth, to change the truth, to amend the truth, or to replace the truth with falsehood is prohibited as per Quran. To not give someone or something its due right based on God's solid judicial principle, whatever somebody's haq is, whatever somebody's due right is, we have to give that due right to him or her. If we don't do that, we are doing something which is prohibited as per Quran. Not to fulfill our obligations towards someone or something is prohibited, because in our life we follow many roles. It's a responsibility and an obligation to ourselves as a person, to our environment, to our each and every individual that we meet, to our spouse, to our parents, to our children, to our siblings, to our neighbors, to our relatives, to our strangers. Each and every role that we play, we have to fulfill all the obligations. If we do not do that, then we are doing something which is prohibited as per Quran. To hinder, to oppose, not to support, or go against haq in any manner whatsoever is prohibited. And haq in this particular phrase means any constructive activities that is being done to create law and order, peace, and to provide and to become a shield against batil, against pain and suffering, against batil activity, any sort of constructive activities. We need to support these activities. If we don't do that, if we hinder these activities, if we oppose, or if we go against these activities in any manner whatsoever, we're doing something which is prohibited as per Quran. Shameful acts, fahashi, indecent, immoral acts, whether hidden or obvious, is prohibited as per Quran. Sins, crimes of any sort whereby it end up in destruction of human abilities and faculties is prohibited. Any such wealth, power, or comfort or luxury that we get without haq, for which we have not earned anything, for which we have not made any effort, is prohibited as per Quran. Assigning of partners to Allah in any manner whatsoever is prohibited as per Quran. Saying things about Allah, from Allah, associating anything with deen or in the name of Allah is prohibited as per Quran. Not to do ihsan with parents, which means that with parents it has to be as a step up of adl. Adl means that you give somebody his or her due right, and you take from someone or something which is your due right. As a step of adl means that you do more than what that person deserves, and you take less from what you deserve from that person, is a behavior known as ihsan, and it is prohibited as per Quran not to do ihsan with parents. With parents you cannot do anything with them which is not as per best of the best behavior, and there should not be any expectation of any return whatsoever from them. And this is as per Quran. So if we do not be as per our best of the best behavior with our parents, then we are doing something which is prohibited as per Quran. To kill children is prohibited as per Quran, which means to deprive them of education, training, upbringing, knowledge of all their ways and means of their personality and character development. To deprive them of those ways and means is prohibited as per Quran. To kill a soul except by haq, which means to humiliate someone, to disrespect someone, to degrade or physically kill anyone, is prohibited as per Quran. To indulge in a very cunning behavior, being miser, being extremely selfish or self-centered, is prohibited as per Quran. All the acts of unpleasant and acceptable acts which are outside the scope of the boundaries of deen, of all the rules and regulations given by God Almighty, all those acts called munkar is prohibited as per Quran. And then to deny or reject haq and Allah's ayat is prohibited as per Quran. So today we completed the complete series on the list of prohibitions. Thank you so much for listening to this video. Next we are going to discuss the Deen and the foundations of Deen, Iman and Ayat. Thank you so much for listening to the video. Until next video, take care of yourself. Thank you so much. Jazakallah khair.